Hi everyone, and welcome back. If it's your first time here, welcome in. It's a Monkey Mar. Before we get into episode 1 of Women Who Kill Children, please make sure you click that subscribe button and that bell to get my notifications and, of course, the like. And without further ado, let's get into Casey Anthony. So, who is a Casey Anthony? Let's start with her early years and family. Born on March 19th, 1986 in Warren, Ohio. Casey was one of 2 children of Cindy and George. With George having worked in law enforcement, Casey was a bright, personable young girl with friends and what many thought were an ordinary American family. However, friends say that a pattern of lying began when Casey was in high school. It's amazing the patterns of lies with these women. Cindy and George attended Casey's graduation along with Casey's grandparents, only to discover that she was several credits short of graduating. Casey had stopped attending classes toward the end of the school year, but led her family to believe she would walk with the graduating class. Right there, something is wrong with that child. When Casey was 19, her family yet another shock. She had put on weight and her parents suspected she was pregnant. Casey denied it, another lie, claiming she was a virgin. I mean, my gosh. Months into her pregnancy, she told her parents the truth. The identity of the baby's father, however, remained a mystery. Casey pointed to different men, including her fiancé, Jesse Grunt, as well as a young man she had dated previously who had died in a car crash on August 9th, 2005. Caylee Anthony was born. Do you know who these mysterious men are? A friend of Casey said that she had discussed giving the baby up for adoption, but was discouraged by her mother. For the next few years, Casey and Caylee lived with her parents, and Grun acted as the baby's father. Grun even believed Caylee might be his baby, despite knowing that the timing of her conception made it improbable. A DNA test would later find that Grund was not Caylee's father. The identity of Caylee's father remained unknown. In mid-June 2008, with her suitability as a mother called into question by Cindy, Casey left her parents' home after a major argument, taking Caylee with her. I think Casey, now I know she was found not guilty, but in my opinion, she did kill Caylee. And I think she did it and took her away from her mother because she was such a hateful person that she did not want Cindy to have Caylee, or she might have even have been jealous because she's such a narcissist that Caylee wanted to be with her grandparents. Okay, let's get into the next part. I want to go over the eerie coincidence on exactly who is Caylee Anthony's father. And there were a few potential options. They all shared one extremely eerie coincidence. They each died in a car accident before it could ever be proven if they were Caylee's father. How ironic is that? Not one, not two, not three, but four. So, the first one, Jesus Ortiz, who went to high school with Anthony and was named the father of Caylee in 2008. His family never believed it. It would never be proven, though, as just under a year before Ortiz was publicly named the father, he died in a car accident. Then, there was a man only identified as Josh, who Anthony apparently met while working at Universal Studios. It later became public knowledge that Josh died in a car accident, also in 2007. The thing with a pathological liar is you hear so many stories that you just don't know. This was an article I found regarding JP, and this was a conversation between Melina Calabrese, Casey Anthony's childhood friend, and Orange County Sheriff's Office Captain Yuri Milik left us with this. So, they say Casey Anthony slept with a man she worked with at Universal Studios. His name is JP Casey. Believes he was the father of Caylee. JP died in a car accident and never knew Caylee existed. At first, everyone was led to believe Caylee's father was the former fiancé, Jesse Grunt. So here we go into JP and Casey had a one-night stand at a hotel near their workplace, Universal Studios. They kept it on the down low because JP was engaged and already had a child. Casey told Melina that the same story she told Cindy, Anthony, and the rest of the world. Caylee's father died in a car crash, which happened about the time that Caylee turned 2. So, I'll tell you my opinion on this at the end. Then we've got Eric Baker, was then named Caylee's father. This according to Cindy Anthony. She claimed that her daughter had confided this information in her, but Baker's family wasn't informed. The man was either from North Carolina or Kentucky. The elder Anthony didn't know which. And while there was no connection found between any man named Eric Baker and Casey Anthony, they did find an Eric Baker from Kentucky who also died in a car accident in 2007. I mean, you cannot make this up. Okay, here is the article on mydeathspace.com. So let me just show you the Eric Baker who they are claiming is from Kentucky, but he's not. So we've got Michael Ramdhall, 23, Taylor Scanlon, and Eric Baker were killed in a speed-related auto accident. So if you want to read this article, you can pause it, and I will attach all of the links in the description. But when we get right here, they were identified as Michael Serum Ramtall, 23, of Ocala. I used to live there. Taylor Dean Scanlon, 24, of Fruitland Park, which is about 20-25 minutes from Orlando. And then you've got Eric C. Baker, 21, from Summerfield, Florida. That is about 45 minutes, 30 minutes from Orlando. It's kind of in between Ocala and Orlando. So this is the article. This down here is Eric Baker, and these were the other 2 passengers in the car, and it was a horrible car accident. And the most plausible candidate for Caylee's father was Michael Duggan. And his mom was adamant about this. She said she's 100% sure Caylee was her granddaughter. But once again, there was no way to prove this. Michael died in a car accident in 2007. Yes, again. So let me show you a couple of baby pictures of Michael Duggan against little Caylee Anthony. Alright, let's get into Caylee Anthony, a timeline. So we know August 9th, 2005, little Caylee was born. June 16th, Caylee was reportedly seen alive for the last time. June 15th, Casey's mother Cindy reports that Caylee is missing. July 16th, Anthony is arrested for child neglect. She tells police her daughter vanished after she left her with a babysitter named Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez, who had also disappeared, aka Zanny the Nanny. July 17th, 2008, officers search Anthony's car and a cadaver dog picks up on the scent of human decomposition. August 27th, authorities say an air sample test from Anthony's car indicates there were human remains in the trunk. October 14th, my birthday, a grand jury indicts Anthony on capital murder and other charges, and she pleads not guilty. This part. December 11th, skeletal remains are found in a wooded area near the home by a utility worker. Now, this was also the little pet cemetery where all the kids in the neighborhood used to bury their pets. Caylee had been missing for months before the 2-year-old child's body was found in a blanket inside of a trash bag in a wooded area not far from the Anthony family home in Orlando. In August 2008, a utility company meter reader named Roy Kronk called police to report what looked like a human skull at the location. Kronk testified that an officer berated me for a half hour for wasting his time after not seeing the skull. When Kronk returned in December of that same year, he says he inserted a stick in the right eye socket of the skull and pivoted it back and forth. December 19th, authorities announced the remains have been identified as Caylee Anthony. August, September, October, November, into December. What in the entire F? April 13th, prosecutors say they will seek the death penalty, reversing an earlier decision not to pursue capital punishment. So then we get into the trial, jury selection, and all that good stuff, but I'm sure most of us know, so I'm not going to read all of it. We do know it was 7 women and 5 men. They deliberated for 10 hours and 40 minutes before coming back with a verdict of not guilty of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, or aggravated manslaughter of a child. So July 17, she is sentenced to 4 years in jail with credit for time served and fined $1,000 for each count, but then 10 days later, she is released from jail. Florida's DCF concludes that Caylee was responsible for the death of her daughter. The actions or the lack of actions by the alleged perpetrator ultimately resulted or contributed in the death of the child. And the rest we know, but I will scroll through it to the end in case you do want to read it. But that is how it went down, and how in the world they found her not guilty for the murder of her child is beyond me. So, what was Casey Anthony doing while Caylee was missing? On the 18th, we know she went to her neighbor's house and borrowed a shovel to dig up a bamboo root. She gets the tattoo Bella Vita on her shoulder, which is Beautiful Life in Italian on July 2nd, 2008. Then the lies that the babysitter in Disney and talking on the phone. Then we've got her buying beer with stolen checks. Now, I am definitely thinking that these women who kill children can't possibly have a full deck. And partying. She partied like a rock star. The hot body contest that she entered. She just, I don't know. I do not understand why she did what she did, and I know she was not guilty. And then she has her romantic date at Blockbusters with the new boyfriend that she moved in with. So, we got the play shot girl at the bar. She did that too. All of this while her child is missing. Moves in with her boyfriend. Plays little Miss Domestic. Her fake smile on her face. She is evil. And the whole time out looking for Caylee while she was on bail. Like she didn't already know where she was. Let me ask, do the people that believe Casey Anthony was not guilty read this medical examiner's report on Caylee? Because if Casey didn't do it, who did it? Let me just go to page 3. Do the people that Caylee Anthony surrounding the death information from the scene and examination of... This is so disturbing that I can't even read it correctly. Let's start over. Okay. Caylee Anthony, page 3. I'm going to attach the PDF if you have not seen this examiner's report on Caylee Anthony, but I will attach the link to my drive. So, the circumstances of death are that this toddler child with no known medical history was not reported missing to authorities for approximately 30 days. This child's remains were eventually found in a wooded, overgrown area, discarded with 2 trash bags and a laundry bag. Although there is no trauma evident on the skeleton, there is duct tape over the lower facial region still attached to the head hair. The duct tape was clearly placed prior to decomposition, keeping the mandible in place. Now, I don't know who babysits their child and puts duct tape over their mouth and chloroforms them and puts them in the trunk of the car, and then the child is found a couple blocks from the parents' house. She is probably one of the most hated women in the world. And let's see where Miss Casey Psychopath Anthony is today. got Caylee living down in West Palm Beach, Florida, with a 71-year-old man, McKenna. But Patrick has a Patrick McKenna Jr., who is 35. And if I'm not mistaken, he lives at the house too. So first, I am going to scroll through Caylee Anthony's assets, financial, get into her criminal background and traffic, but we know what this is going to be. So 2013 bankruptcy. I am not going to read all of this because it's just too much. Judgments. No evictions, no foreclosures. Here's the photography company. Case Photography. Let's get into her criminal records, and we know what this role is about. How I still can't imagine how she got away with murder. It's almost like they were paid off. Or who knows what Caylee Anthony is capable of doing. But right after this, we are going to do a road trip and go see where she's living. In the house with father and son. Very interesting. A lot of traffic infractions, aggravated manslaughter of a child, false reports. Alright, so that is her background and everything else that's been going on with Miss Psychopath. Alright, let's go on a road trip. Curious to see where she's living. Now, before we go on the road trip, let me show you one quick thing. The property where Caylee Anthony now resides with, Patrick J. McKenna, the 71-year-old. And then if you look in 2000 and, where is it? Transfer date, January 4, 2018. It was a transfer date to a Patrick J. McKenna, 0 purchase price. And when you click on this name, Patrick J. McKenna, 35, West Palm. So there's definitely a junior. And maybe Caylee Anthony's dating his son. It's really hard being nosy sometimes. Alright, let's go on a road trip to where Miss Caylee Anthony lives. And I don't know if you know the West Palm Beach area, but Summit's right here. So this road right through here is Forest Hill Boulevard. And she's really close to the Intercoastal. A couple houses. 5 houses from the Intercoastal and Flagler. Alright, let's get low and check it out. Alright, let's go down a little bit. Yeah, Palm Beach is nice. Alright, we passed it. Let's go back. Alright, here we go. And look, there's the little car from the pictures prior to this that they were cruising in. So that's where Caylee Anthony lives. With father and son, but who knows who is living there because it was transferred into the son's name. And there is the Intercoastal. What's his name? Take 2. Okay. I have no idea who Caylee Anthony's father is. I'm not sure anyone knows. Casey might not even know. But if I had to guess, after doing this little comparison with the two that I think it could possibly be, and if this is the man she had the one night stand with at Universal, JP Chet, then watch this. Even the cheeks under the eyes, I think this is her father. And let's do this one more time with Michael Duggard and little Caylee Anthony. But then I do it with this one, and I think the mouth. They have the same mouth. I do not know why the mother has not gotten a DNA test yet. They have... The mouth is definitely the same. You know, this could be Daddy too. I do not know who Daddy is. My thoughts on Casey Anthony, and this is my opinion, I think she took little Caylee out of the house. I think little Caylee missed the grandparents and was probably having a tantrum, and Caylee overdid what she did. Because I think she's just an angry, pathological, psychotic, lying, she's definitely one of a kind. Out of all the fathers, I think she looks like JP Chet. And with that, guys, thank you for coming in, and thank you for watching. Please like or dislike, whichever you prefer, and subscribe. Everyone out there, stay safe from COVID-19, and if you did happen to catch it, or your friends or family, I do hope everyone has recovered, or they are recovering. And everyone, have a good day or a good night wherever you are, and stay vigilant.